People, I have an important announcement.
The Simpsons might have got a scary amount of predictions right, but even the crystal ball gazing writers didn't get everything right.
Can you believe that?
Spanning 3 decades and boasting hundreds of episodes, The Simpsons has been an absolute juggernaut in the entertainment industry, and will be a massive part of pop culture for the foreseeable future.
Are you talking to me?
No, my son is also named Bort.
With such a constant hand in the pulse of society, it is unsurprising that they made some correct guesses for what the future holds for our civilization. Like a scary amount of things, such as President Trump, Skype, and even Disney purchasing Fox.
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.
You'd think that they'd have some level of clairvoyance with the amount of accuracy The Simpsons has had, not only parodying the past, but also the future. But sometimes, even they don't get everything right, with even the best crystal ball gazers getting it wrong. I mean, according to the Mayans, the world was meant to end in 2012, so in this video we look at the times The Simpsons were wrong, or at least, for now. From modernizing landmarks, other dips into the political world, and changing traditional ways of speaking. These are some of the ways The Simpsons were wrong, although we will see if we're saying the same thing in 5 years' time. The Simpsons have never been afraid to foray into politics, and have even made correct predictions to the future of US politics, with them amazingly guessing President Donald Trump back in season 11 of the series.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
They have even alluded to his daughter, Ivanka, running for president in 2028. So we shall see if the writers can really read the future. One thing they have gotten wrong, for now at least, is our favorite muscled-up Austrian, Arnold Schwarzenegger, becoming president. Schwarzenegger, who has had an influence throughout The Simpsons, with character Rainier Wolfcastle being a parody of him, is seen as president in the 2012 feature-length Simpsons movie.
Mr. President.
In the movie, Schwarzenegger picks option 3 and decides to put Springfield under a giant dome due to its pollution crisis.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
The reason The Simpsons probably made this joke was because Schwarzenegger, at the time, was governor of California. But while he was elected to lead, not to read, it seems like his political days are over with him reverting back to acting. But who knows, maybe we'll see him running against Ivanka in 2028. Technology has progressed leaps and bounds since The Simpsons started in 1989, and we have seen many changes in everyday society since then. This has also included changes to national monuments, but one thing that hasn't changed too much is London's famous clock tower, Big Ben. But in The Simpsons, it undergoes quite a drastic change. In an episode where Lisa sees her future husband, Britt Hugh Parkfield, there is an establishing shot of the London skyline with the focus resting on Big Ben, which has gone digital. While Big Ben has gone through changes over its many years, it has still yet to go digital. But with it still being currently closed? Who knows? Maybe the old chimes will be replaced by an annoying chirpy alarm. One thing The Simpsons did seemingly get right in that shot is the silhouette of a building that is reminiscent of London's biggest skyscraper, the Shard, in the background. For those who don't know, construction of the Shard started in 2009 and was finished in 2012. What makes it weird is that the episode aired in 1995, more than 10 years before the Shard had started being built. Eerie. Along with their many other predictions, one of the biggest predictions was Disney purchasing Fox, the network that The Simpsons airs on. This turns out to be very much correct, with now The Simpsons appearing on Disney's streaming service Disney+, and continues to show that The Simpsons really are some kind of magicians. But what they didn't get right was ABC merging with a ton of other networks. In the Lisa's Wedding episode that we mentioned before, we see TV anchor Kent Brockman on a new merged network, CNN-BCS. And while we have tons of networks and production companies merging in recent times, that is one they are still yet to get right.
It's good to hear a boisterous American laugh.
In the same scene as the ABC channel merging, we also see another prediction that very thankfully didn't come through: World War III. Once Mo learns that Lisa's future husband Hugh is British, he says, "We saved your ass in World War II." To which Hugh replies,
"Yeah, well, we saved your ass in World War III.
That's true.
Now, while it was just a quick quip, and with them never going into further detail than that, such as, for instance, who was fighting in World War III and how Britain came to America's aid, The Simpsons predicted so many things right, it is easy to get slightly concerned that World War III could be on its way, especially with the way 2020 is going. The future of food in science fiction and pop culture has continued to be a debated topic, whether it be in pill form, dehydrated, or even chewing gum that has the flavor of a 3-course meal.
Oh, no, roast beef, but I haven't got it quite right yet.
We often pause to wonder what we will be eating in the next few decades. And of course, The Simpsons made a prediction that we will all be munching on virtual reality food, with Homer and Marge consuming virtual fudge in an episode. While VR is becoming an increasingly big part in our society, and it is even being used in the food world with a VR experience, it is still yet to be used to simulate food with all current experiences requiring you to physically eat real-world food. Although the episode in The Simpsons is set in 2030, so I guess we still have 10 years to see if they are actually wrong or not.
Oh, what a bleak, horrible future we live in!
While technology has progressed a lot, one of the things that hasn't significantly changed is the decline of typical airline planes. In fact, these skybuses have mostly remained the same ever since they came into common usage. But The Simpsons predicted differently. In fact, they jokingly predicted that planes would quit their wacky old designs and instead go to a strange multi-winged wooden design.
Holy Christmas!
Yeah, not wacky at all. It may have been a joke, but for now it seems that planes will be staying mostly the same. Another altered mode of transportation that The Simpsons predicted, and one we wish were true, were hovercars. In one episode, Professor Frink designed a machine that allowed Bart and Lisa to see into what at the time would have been the future year 2013. In the episode, we see Marge has left Homer, and he blew all their savings on a hovercar and an underwater house. Because who wouldn't? The ride may be bumpy, but the hovercar works in the episode. Sadly though, we are still yet to see a hovercar in real life, despite car companies currently working on similar technology.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Maybe we'll see Elon Musk coming out with something in the next decade. Cryogenic tanks is an idea that has been around for some time now, with the urban myth that Walt Disney requested that he be placed in one after his death, and even Matt Groening's other hit show, Futurama, centered around a man who is trapped in a cryogenic tank and awakening in the future. The Simpsons also features a cryogenic tank, with our favorite resident evil millionaire, Mr. Burns, being kept in a cryogenic tank by his trusty assistant Smithers. Although he needs something even more technologically advanced to be brought back to life, after being stabbed in the back 17 times, which isn't that surprising given his nature. As you guessed, we are still yet to see functioning cryogenic tanks, with the science being somewhat controversial. But if there was ever a man who would use one of those tanks, my money would be on Mr. Burns.
Oh no, we've got a little situation.
Calling technology is rapidly changing, and with video calling apps such as WhatsApp, Skype, FaceTime, and Zoom becoming ever more prevalent in our society. Video call technology was something The Simpsons and 2001 predicted correctly, but something they have yet to get right is the inclusion of hologram mail. While we have seen holograms in some forms, such as the hologram Tupac appearing on stage, we are yet to have a handheld device that plays hologram content. In a look into the future, a deadbeat adult Bart gets a hologram message from his former classmate Nelson Muntz, with his whole body appearing in a 3D visual effect. Holograms do seem something that would be very real in the future, but for now we are yet to see holograms being used from our phones. Another hologram image that appears in The Simpsons are virtual trees used to replace actual trees. It is unclear whether in The Simpsons these virtual trees produce oxygen, but thankfully for now we are sticking with the real thing. One day we may have to bow down to our new robot overlords, but for right now humans are somewhat in control. The notion of robots rising up and exterminating the human race isn't a new thing, with mainstream movies and shows focusing on this plot point, such as The Terminator and HBO's Westworld. And of course it was something that was covered in The Simpsons. They did in fact predict the mass automation of industry, with machines replacing humans for jobs, something which has unfortunately become a reality. But in a 1994 episode they went a step further, predicting a full-out robot rebellion.
They have sensors that ensure they only attack each other, never the guests.
As the family go to visit Itchy and Scratchy Land, despite being programmed to only attack each other, the robots working there go rogue and end up attacking humans and rebelling against society. Thankfully for the Yellow family, the use of flash photography ends up disrupting the machines and disabling them. Also, thankfully for us as a society, the only robot rebellion taking place right now is on Westworld, and not real-life populated theme parks. But if you do ever come across an angry robot, use that Simpsons tip and keep your flash on. Our speech and dialect is a constantly shifting beast as we go from decade to decade, with slang words changing throughout the decades.
He's finally matched his meat.
That's met his match.
With new terms such as lit, flex, and ranties becoming part of our syntax. Alright, I might have made up ranties, but I'm just trying to get something going.
That's the joke.
But two words that have stayed the same for a while now are customary greetings, hello and goodbye. But The Simpsons predicted that we would be saying something else. As mentioned previously, in the hologram message, Nelson signs off with the words,
Smell you later!
with him previously campaigning for the phrase to replace the typical goodbye. We may have quite a few phrases of saying farewell, or Auf Wiedersehen, or goodbye. Smell you later is one that is yet to actually take hold in everyday society. Unlike Ranty's, which is hot on the streets right now, so I'm told. I'm 60 years old.
Smell you later! Smell you later! Right!
What do you think of that, my Ranties? Which wrong prediction would you like to see come true? Were there any we missed? Do you think any of these will actually come true in the future? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more interesting content.